What is going on, UFC card lovers? Welcome back to another episode, the first episode for 2023 of UFC Card Talk. My name is Damien, and if you're new to the channel, here at UFC Card Talk, we talk about everything to do with UFC cards, from collecting to investing, and also recent UFC card hobby news. This week's episode, what I thought we would do for the first week of 2023 is I want to talk about some opportunities I think there is in the market right now to buy some fighters who I think, even in this down market, can really turn around and make a little bit of a profit for later on in the year if you were to buy their cards now. And then I also want to show you guys, go over some purchases I'm hoping to make throughout 2023, some specific cards that I'm hoping to add to my PC. Being the start of 2023, a new year, I just want to show appreciation and say thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout this journey so far. It's only been a few months. I'm really happy with how the channel's going. Obviously, I've been working a little bit on things here in the background, trying to get the videos to look a little bit better, look a little bit nicer. I'm always going to be trying to improve the quality of videos for you guys as we go on. I'm still learning, but I just want to show appreciation to people who have subscribed so far, people who comment on my videos, people who message me on Instagram at UFC Card Talk. Feel free for anyone to message me anytime. I'm always happy to talk about UFC cards. If you haven't already and you want to get a part of this little community and you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you do get notified when I do have new weekly videos. So getting into today's video, some fighters who I think there is great opportunity for if you are to buy into their market now. These are some big name fighters who I think there's really some good buying opportunities for, and there's none more than, in my opinion, than Jon Jones. Jon Jones has obviously been out of action. He's been out of the octagon since 2019. It's going to be coming up to almost 3 years that he has not competed in the octagon. It is very true what people say, out of sight, out of mind. Although Jon Jones, his cards still do command a bit of a premium, given that a lot of people see him as the greatest of all time, given his legacy in the sport, given his career, how dominant he was, which is all the reasons why I think that this comeback that he's going to be making to heavyweight, I think that he has a really good chance of capturing that belt and becoming double champ status. And if Jon Jones is able to do that, I think if anyone can beat Francis Ngannou, it is Jon Jones. Not to break this down stylistically, but I just do really like Jon Jones's chances in that fight. And if he does get that double champ status, which not many fighters can do in their careers. Obviously, if Jon Jones can get that double champ status, there is no doubt in my mind that there will be a good increase in his card market. So cards that I would be looking at getting, whether they're his rookie card from 2009 Topps, whether you can find one of the early Topps inserts. I know there is some good Win Champions cards that circulate on eBay that do have Beckett authenticated on-card autographs. These are all cards that I do think would be good purchases if you were looking at getting into Jon Jones. The other fighter, I think this one's very obvious, and I obviously spoke about all the reasons in a recent video of why I think Conor McGregor right now is a great buy. Conor McGregor, obviously another fighter, hasn't fought for over 18 months, but when he does make that comeback, which is almost a certain thing, I think, whether it's welterweight, whether it's lightweight, I really do think that Conor McGregor, once he does make a return, his pricing is quite low at the moment. I've been watching his prices for the last month. I think it's a great time to be buying Conor McGregor's cards for that short-term flip. Regardless of what you think about Conor McGregor long-term, I definitely think that when he does come back, there is going to be a lot of media, mainstream media, that is going to be on him, and it's going to bring in a lot of collectors/investors from other hobbies as well. They're going to be reminded of Conor McGregor. There's going to be a lot of hype there regardless of who he fights, and therefore we're going to see some decent increases in his card pricing. Cards that I would be looking at for Conor McGregor, as I spoke about in my video from 2 weeks ago, I would be definitely looking at his first year 2021 Prism products. I would also be looking at any of the Topps knockout inserts that you can get. You get some of those cards which are relatively low print compared to Panini products, but get some Topps knockout inserts, graded if you can. If you are, one tip I would give, if you are looking for a card to flip, so-called flip is obviously a short-term hold, whether it be anywhere from a week to 12 months that you're looking at holding that card. Always, if you can, and I know it's always going to be the pricier, but get a PSA 10. There is no card that is more liquid or more sought after in the hobby than what is a PSA 10. So if you can pick up a PSA 10, which I have seen some decent prices for Conor McGregor in some of these inserts, in some of these Panini products for PSA 10s, even a PSA 9 could be a decent little markup. Obviously, you're not going to make as much as what you would for a PSA 10, but it's going to be lower investment and lower risk to begin with. So another fighter who I do think there could be big upside to is the current featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Obviously, he is fighting Islam Makhachev in February in order to try and get that double champ status as well. If he can do that, he's going to join a very exclusive club. Alexander Volkanovski, he has a tall task in front of him, but whether he can beat Islam or not is another question. But if he can, then I do think there is massive upside for Volkanovski and his prices. Speaking of that fight, I think Islam Makhachev, since that win in October, his pricing has cooled off. It exploded like crazy after he had that win. Now that we're into the start of 2023, his pricing has cooled. You can pick up his PSA 10 of his rookie card for anywhere between $100 to $200. That's obviously a base from the Topps Chrome. But I do think there is massive upside to Islam Makhachev depending how far he wants to take his career. The way that he absolutely dismantled Oliveira was really surprising for me and really showed that dominance that a lot of people have praised him on for most of his career. And he has looked almost unbeatable throughout most of his career. He has had that one loss, so he does not have that undefeated record that his head coach does, Habib. But I do think the big difference that works in Islam's favour between him and Habib, I do like the way that Islam, he is more active on social media. He is more active on the mic and in interviews. He doesn't mind talking a bit of smack, getting the audience involved, where Khabib was a lot more reserved in his interviews, a lot more reserved on his social media, and was just completely dominant in the cage. But if Islam can continue his run, which I very well think he can, whether he goes up in weight, contend for the welterweight title is another thing. But one thing I would also like to speculate on, if we are talking about Islam, if we are talking about Conor, is I can see a scenario where the UFC will match them up. Whether it's later this year, whether it's 2024, I do think the UFC will push to make a Conor McGregor-Islam Makhachev fight. Given the background with Habib, it would be an absolutely massive, massive spectacle. So that, in turn, would also boost Islam's pricing. So now, what I want to do, I want to show you guys some of the cards that I'm hoping to pick up in 2003. I'm going to put it out there to the MMA community universe. Let's go over now and check out some cards that I'm hoping to get this year. Starting first with my main PC. Sugar Sean O'Malley. There's a lot of cards that I want of his, and I really battle that FOMO, that fear of missing out that I talked about in my last episode. But I am practicing patience, and I do think, especially in the current market, practicing patience could prove very useful. It could backfire. I mean, Sean O'Malley, his pricing over the next 12 months could absolutely explode, and I will be left regretting that I didn't buy a card sooner. But for now, I'm not buying every single Sean O'Malley card that I want, which there's plenty of. But this is just a few cards that I want to share with you guys that I'm really hoping and can add to the PC this year. Starting off first with the 2022, it's the Purple Flux. What I really love about this card, I just love the imagery. It's his signature celebration win with the fadeaway jump shot from a lot of his wins in 2020/2021. And the purple in this card, I don't have any purple cards. And I just think that purple is obviously a really fitting colour for Sean O'Malley. He's a colourful guy. I just really like the imagery on that card. So that's one that I'm hoping to add to my PC this year. Next up is the 2021. It's the Orange Prism. Now, so this card, whether it's a PSA 9, PSA 10, I just think that this would be a super nice addition to my PC. I do have the Silver Prism in a PSA 9. I love that card, and I just think buying an Orange Prism, the poor man's gold, I will just be really happy to grab that card this year. So I don't have any of the Orange Prisms, so I think if I'm to start off with one, why not grab a Sean O'Malley? Everyone has a different budget. I spoke about having a budget and how important that is in my last episode too. Check that one out for you guys if you haven't already. I go over 5 different lessons throughout my first year in the hobby. Definitely having a budget is a must. And then the last Sean O'Malley card that I'll share with you guys is the 2022. It's the 2012 Flashback Prism. It's a PSA 10 that's listed here. Same thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a PSA 10 given that it's going for the PC. I'd be happy with a PSA 9. But the Silver Flashback Prism seems to be a difficult one to find for any fighter. This one is another one. It's in the wheelhouse of if I save up some of my budget from previous months, that it is very obtainable and I'll be super happy. I've spoken about many times why I love the Flashback Prisms, but to grab a silver one, Sean O'Malley is definitely highest on the list. Going over now to another guy who I PC, Kevin Holland. Obviously, Kevin Holland's rookie card is from the 2021 Panini product, and I do really like the Immaculate cards. There's just something very high-end about them. The patch with the auto that gets me. It's an SGC 8.5 with a 10 auto grade, sitting around $325. This is the acetate, numbered out of 8, so what you would classify as a pretty high-end card for Kevin Holland and his rookie year. So to pick up one of these Immaculate cards is definitely on my list. Failing that, obviously you can see another example here. It's got the on-card auto, numbered to 99. That one's very well fair priced at $100. So as I said, don't necessarily have to grab the acetate out of 8. Out of 99 is quite fine for the PC. So we'll see how my budget's doing, but I do really hope that I can add one of these Kevin Holland Immaculate rookies for my PC in 2023. And then lastly, this one might surprise you guys, but I am hoping to get a Don Fry authenticated auto from one of his early release Topps products. This one is a example from 2010. I am a big fan of the Pride era. I've rewatched a lot of these fights the years since becoming an MMA fan, and Don Fry really was a pioneer of the sport, and I loved his fighting style, just the way that he was just an absolute brawler. He's had some very, very iconic fights. Check his fight out with Tank Abbott. It's one of the best of them. So to be able to get an on-card auto from an early release of Topps of Don Fry is definitely on my to-do list as well. Add to the PC. I don't have any Don Fry cards at the moment, but he is a guy who I will be slowly getting into just because I just think he's such a legend of the sport and I've enjoyed rewatching a lot of his fights. So there we have it, guys. First episode back here. Next week, I've got a really interesting episode I think you guys are going to enjoy. I'm going to be going over the rookies coming up in the 2023 products, talk about some of them, go over some of the big names, and go over some of the lesser known rookies who I think have big upside going into 2023 and the release of Panini's products. If you're enjoying this video, once again, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. It's nice to know that people are enjoying the videos, that they want to hear what I have to say, and I'm not just here talking to myself. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again here next week.